Hi, my name is Mike Solomon. I'm an autism specialist with the Prince William County Schools. I currently work with elementary, middle, and high school students who have autism. In my role, I currently provide a lot of social skills and behavioral supports. Additionally, I support both general and special education teachers in finding ways to help incorporate technology to meet the needs of my students and some of their other students. In addition to that, I've had personal experience teaching in both general and special education classrooms. I'm looking forward to sharing you guys lots of cool tools I use for my students, as well as tools that I show to other teachers as well. Hope that you find at least one useful thing that you can hopefully apply to your students as well. I'm going to be briefly going over a lot of different tools today, but this is kind of the theme of overall everything I'm trying to show you guys. I'll be showing you different low-tech supports to meet students' sensory needs and work habit skills, as well as different low-tech ways to modify and adapt assignments to meet the needs of students. Along with it, a big theme in the education world is trying to make sure there's time in the day to accommodate all the students' different reading levels, things like that. I'm going to show you guys some really cool free resources that are out there that can modify and adapt instruction with the click of a button. I'm a big proponent for tablet instruction. I use iPad for my own personal daily life, along with being a teacher. I'm actually a student at George Mason University, seeking some additional coursework. But I use my iPad for myself, but I also work with my students so that they can use an iPad in their own instruction. And then lastly, I'm going to show you guys some additional really cool online resources that can be easily implemented into the classroom that a lot of my students love. A lot of other teachers I work with have also found ways to enjoy using in their classrooms. I'm a firm believer that every student has their own unique ways that they learn. I know it's a big thing. A lot of people believe that. I went to a presentation a couple months ago where they talked about a lot of students are only able to really kind of sit still, retain that information for about 10 minutes at a time. After 10 minutes, they need to get moving. Oftentimes with our guys with disabilities, they need more incentive or more support to kind of help keep them focused in instruction. There's a lot of really cool tools that help them with that too. One of the first ones I've talked about is pencil grips. Handwriting's a struggle for some students. I know myself. My students like to make fun of me because my handwriting isn't the best. I often type in front of my students to make their lives easier and make my lives easier. There's a lot of really cool different types of pencil grips out there. Oftentimes if you talk to your school OT, you'll be able to get some of these. But just the nice thing with different pencil grips is it allows the students to write in ways that might be more comfortable to them. Another big one, ADHD is always the big one people like to throw at me, even if the student doesn't necessarily actually have a diagnosis. There's been a lot of research in color paper and fonts. Sometimes what you'll find with students is that the color white isn't a easy color for them to look at. It's just too bright. So sometimes adapting an assignment or modifying is something as simple as just photocopying the assignment on a different color page. Something with the contrast is easier for some students. But the other one is if it's an assignment that you've typed up yourself. Sometimes just changing the font helps you. Nice thing with computers now is you can enlarge the screen, things like that, control, mouse up. Changing size helps students. Changing the color of the page helps students. A lot of different ways to kind of help keep the students focused on the assignments and be able to see it easier for them. Another big one is, everybody's always talking about students having to move constantly. Students deal with their kids. Kids need to move. So there's a lot of really cool tools out there. The first one, a lot of my students love this stuff. This stuff's called Therapuddy. Therapuddy is really nice because it's almost like a Play-Doh. Got some right here with me. The cool thing with this stuff is when you squeeze it, it has a nice firmness to it, which my kids love, but also kids can pull it, things like that. It's a really nice fidget item that can help students stay focused in class, things like that. Just gotta make sure they know the rules. I often, if I don't always have third party, Play-Doh is really cheap. Dollar store. The dollar store is teacher is your best friend. I get most of my adaptive materials from the dollar store. The dollar store and Five Below too. But Play-Doh is really good. Silly Putty is really good because it kind of gives you that texture. Another really nice one, a lot of my students really love. It's called a TheraBand. It's one of these things up here. The nice thing with TheraBands is they're really just those exercise bands you might see at the gym, things like that. But they're these little rubber bands. What you do with it is you tie it behind someone's chair, like you see in the picture, and the students are able to kick the rubber band back and forth, and that oftentimes gives the students a sense that they're able to run in their chairs, things like that. And sometimes just that back and forth movement of being able to kick something helps keep them on task. So that's another really nice support. Additionally, I thought it sound string. I keep a whole entire line of colored string in my backpack. I carry a backpack with me everywhere I go. I work at 11 schools. But I keep string in my backpack. The nice thing with the string is it gives the students a little fidget item. They can tie it up, they can hold it, they can pull on it, it won't break. But I've got some students who they've had to teach them that if they make a mess, they gotta clean up their mess. But some of my students, just the sense of being able to pull apart the string is calming to them, and they're able to just sit there and pull apart string and stay focused on task while they're pulling apart strings. One additional tool I like, it's called a wiggle cushion. They're just these little, it's kind of like, I don't know if you guys have ever seen videos or pictures, or you might have seen it in a school, where they have the exercise balls that kids sit on. Exercise balls are a great tool. It kind of helps the students have to stay focused on kind of staying balanced in the chair. There's a lot of good research in kind of helping kids stay supported on those balls while with focus. But the wiggle cushion is pretty much just a modified version where it's an inflatable cushion you put on your seat. Oftentimes, I always have trouble getting hold of wiggle cushions. They're not always easy to come by. So the other thing I've often done is if you ever find a cheap pillow, or oftentimes in a lot of the elementary school classrooms, you'll see pillows around the classroom. And it's just a regular couch cushion pillow thing. And all you do is have the students sit on it. And it gives them that same sensation of being able to wiggle back and forth. Some other great things, if you get cheap inflatable beach balls, or even just I'm trying to think of life vests, things like that. A lot of dollar store stuff, especially closer to summer, has really good. Just anything that's inflatable and can keep thin does really well as a wiggle cushion. Some other great tools that my students use. Let's drag it onto the screen. If I can get it over here. These are called break cards, and oftentimes students often know they need a break, but they aren't always able to communicate it, especially some of your students who do become more frustrated. So the nice thing with break cards is that a student's able to just hand you a break card and you're able to communicate that, hey, I need a break. What else do I have over here? So I think that's everything I have on that one. Another great one, we've switched to checklists here, schedules here in a second. But those are great ways to kind of help keep students engaged and kind of focused on assignments. Next one is schedules. We all need to know what's going on throughout the day. If we don't know what's going on, you can become flustered, things like that, especially a lot of our guys with disabilities. Sometimes they just need direction. So a great thing, if you're doing station activities in classrooms or just going throughout the day, is having some sort of schedule. So I'll often do for a lot of my students, if we're doing any type of station activity, is give them some type of schedule where they know which activities they need to go to. As they finish, they can check it off. Sometimes I'll do a Velcro activity where they have to actually take the picture, say, hey, I did this, now I'm going here. Some other resources I use. This is what I use for some of my students who have trouble asking for help staying on task. This is just a daily checklist they go through, where as they're doing the work, they have to say, hey, is my desk cleared? I take out my pencil, materials, name on their desk. And what this does is the students are able to kind of go through and progress monitor themselves. They're able to ask themselves, hey, have I done this thing? It's almost like a rubric. The kid has rubric or a set of directions that they know they need to follow in order to say, hey, I'm done with this task. So additionally to the checklist, things like that, oftentimes, I've always believed that the simpler you can get, the easier the job is to do. Another one I always keep on me are index cards. You can do a lot with index cards. You can make break cards out of index cards. You can make incentive charts out of index cards. The other thing you can also do is just make a basic checklist. So what I often do, I just wrote this a couple seconds ago. But if I'm working with a student, I'll just on an index card, on a sticky note piece of paper, just write down what the student needs to do. That way they know ahead of time, hey, once I do these 3 things, I'm done. Oftentimes, once the students know that if they can visually see what they have left, they're often able to process and just get through their assignment quicker. Not quicker, but they're able to more independently do the work because they can see an end point to everything. Additionally, so I've got stations checklist. The other one I often do is for one of my other students. This is just schedule of his day. Or I've just gone and gotten pictures, and he just needed to know what his day was looking like. So I've got a morning and an afternoon. The morning and an afternoon. So he knows. Put this on 2 different pages. So in the morning, he knows he's got his morning routine he had to do. And for this student, I actually had a different schedule that walked him through a morning routine. But he knew when he was done, he put a check on each of those things after he finished it. At lunch, we'd flip it over, and we'd just do the same thing again. This way he could see what his day was looking like. This way he could also track to say, hey, when does the end of the day get here? We had additional strategies in place for if there was a change in routine or something like that. Go to the next one. Just throw an iPad application out there. So with this application, I was going to hold it up for you guys. I was having trouble a second ago. So what this application is really nice for is, say you've got a worksheet and a student who has I need to stop saying trouble. I'm trying to reteach myself to say support rather than trouble. Say you have a student who needs support with writing on a page. What you're able to do is take a picture of the worksheet. And once you have the picture of the worksheet, you can actually click anywhere on the screen. And I've got my Bluetooth over here so you can see it. Once you click on the screen, you're able to just type anywhere you want on the page. This way the student can type out their answers instead of write up the answers. Once you're finished, the student is able to email or print out the assignment to a PDF format. So a lot of students really like that. It's a great tool. Another great one is Smart Notebook. You're starting to see there's some type of interactive whiteboard in many of your classrooms today. Oftentimes, there's a big misconception with smartboards. A lot of times I walk into classrooms, smartboards are still being used just as big whiteboards. Smartboards have a lot of really cool application in the classroom. Yes, you can use them for your whole group instruction, but one of my favorite things to do is when I was in the classroom, when I had my own classroom, I actually had Smart Notebook installed on each of my classroom computers. And what you can do with Smart Notebook is create individual assignments for your students. So you can walk them through a review activity. You can make them go through some type of lesson. You can test through it. There's a lot of really cool applications you do through Smart Notebook that assist the students. Another great resource with it's called Smart Exchange. Smart Exchange is an abundance of smartboards that are ready to go. All you have to do is download them to your computer.